Some information about Zolder. Zolder was built in 1963. It started F1 racing in 1973, and the F1 racing there stopped since Gilles Villeneuve, I guess. I think that's his name. He was killed during qualifying during the F1 qualifying in 1973. Because of this, the Belgium Grand Prix was actually moved to Spa from then on, I think. We're expecting rain. It's going to be rain about halfway through. It's a very dynamic as well, so we might have some rain earlier or a bit late, even as late as 10 minutes left of the race. So it's going to be a lot of have a lot of strategies here with a mixed wet and soft setup. Also, this the track. I mean, the race is held in the autumn of, I think it's October. So we're having a really cold track temperature. I think it's almost under 10 degrees now. Probably a little bit hotter now in qualifying. When the rain comes, it's probably gonna be close to 0 even. So keeping your tires hot is gonna be really key here. Because of the low temperatures, though, all the drivers are probably going to go out on soft tires instead of hards. Soft tires give you more grip, of course, as well as the hards would never get up to temperature. So right, so I really want to have a look back on the season, so we know where we are at right now. I'm gonna show you the standings as soon as I can. Hey Max, good to see you in chat. Change to my there we go. As we can see, we have Scott, which we were on board with just now, in first position. He has 247 points, and he has had a league-long rivalry with Ironic, which is just behind. Ironic was in the lead, but they had an issue in round 6, so he couldn't keep up with Scott. So we have an exciting battle for actually the first place tonight. So if Scott has a terrible race and Ironic manages to finish first, which he has a lot of times, that might even give Ironic back his first place. Then we have a three-way battle actually for third place. Let me show off. Okay, so we have seen, this is Scott in the blue, the yellow and blue BMW of his team, BMW Turner Esports or Sports, I can't remember, Motorsports. And then we have Ironic. There he is in his Renault in second place. Might battle the BMW for first place tonight. And then we have, change back here so you can see, we have a three-way battle actually for third position on the podium. We have Nagrom with 138 points, Lusty with 137, just 1 point shy of the next position. And then we have Shaggy Dan as well in fifth with 135, so we might even see Shaggy Dan on the podium tonight, which I thought would happen last race. Exciting stuff. And then we have Dawu, which is a TX3 driver. If he can manage to finish in the top 3 or in that area, that's going to push him into the fight for third place on the podium in the championship. As mentioned, Scott's teammate, Scott is in the yellow and blue BMW. His teammate is Shooter, I believe, which is here. No, I'm mixing them up again. all the yellow BMWs. Yeah, it's Lusty, I forgot, I'm sorry. Okay, so here we have Lusty in 9th at the moment. By the way, a fast qualifying lap here is 131 to 132, so there's a lot of 132s right now, from 1st to 11th place. You might see a lot of the midfield move up, mix up, I mean. Ironic has just taken pole position with with the 300ths of a second. That's really close. And then comes Scott and actually backhands him again with with another time. Then they are so close in pace. This is going to be really cool to see in the race if they manage to fight it out. Then we have Dawi, as I mentioned, if he finishes in top 3 position, that's going to push him into the fight for 3rd position in the championship, so hopefully he can manage to hold that position. We'll see how his fights turn out. I believe that's it on the drivers. There's a lot of battles in the midfield as well, with some guys having the exact same points value. So we're probably going to see a lot of changes there as well. In terms of race pace, they're going to do around 133 to 134s lap times. I need to check my info. And as I mentioned, if you're new around here, this is the AOR GT3 league. We have a lot of drivers in this league, so if you want to join, please feel free to join us on the forums. I'm so sorry for you, Bourbon, that sucks so much, dude. Good luck on the next one. Yeah, I was talking about this being the AOR GT3 league, so if you're new around here and you want to join or think this is exciting, as it is, please come visit us on our forums. As you can see, this is the GT3 League forum, and we have actually 4 tiers right now. We started with 30 in each. So tier 1, the elite guys, then we have tier 2, this is us, and then we have the semi-pros and the amateurs. So please come visit us if you want to take part. It will be a lot of fun to see you there. And we'll go back to the Project Cars game. And as you can see, Ironic has actually Nagrom coming in and putting in a 131.72. Nagrom is a really fast driver. He was a substitute driver, I think, in the beginning, until he became a seasonal driver. There we have him on the hot lap with Ironic behind him. Probably a little bit of a dirty air coming through there, so it might not be an optimal hot lap. Ironic is on the hot lap. Let's go on board with him and see if he can improve in the last 3 minutes. Here they come over this. I think this is turn 5 with the. Yeah, this is going to be hard to. There's going to be a lot of people having a hard time respecting the track limits there. It's just so tempting to just blast through that apex there, as it's just so flat. Here he comes through the hairpin. The hairpin of turn 8 and into turn 10 now. Onto the finish straight. Will he be able to improve? No, he doesn't. He's half a second, 0.6 seconds off his best lap, so that was not a good hop lap for him. He's on to the next hop lap already though, so he might even improve. I think Ironic has been the most consistent pole position driver that we've had in this league. He's just so fast, incredibly fast. And then we have actually Scott now in first position with his teammate. There we have him in here, and there we have Chabas, I believe. There he is, Chabas in the white Renault. A Zolder driver, I believe. There we have Scott in first with Lusty second, and both teammates. As I mentioned in the last round, they're in the... That's something I even forgot to tell you about, the standings between the teams. Let me bring up the teams again. Here we have the teams. As you can see, the yellow BMW is on in first position. BMW Turner Sports, that's Scott and Lusty, which is in first and second place right now. That's going to push them even further up in the lead, if they can keep it together and finish the race in those positions. And then we have Oscaro Esports with Marvin and Ironic. Ironic is the guy in fourth right now. Actually, Nagrom coming in and putting in the second fastest lap of qualifying, I believe. Well, let's check on Scott. He is still in a Nagrom has retired to the pits. He won't be able to make a new hot lap unless he goes out of the pits within 20 seconds. I think Nagrom is happy with second place, so will Scott be able to... Yeah, of course he's gonna defend his position. Since Nagrom is not challenging, is Lusty still on hot lap? Yes, Lusty is still on the hot lap. Maybe he will be able to take back second place in qualifying. Actually, Marvin having a... Let's check. Okay, so Marvin actually having a 1 grid place penalty. And there we have Lusty flashing his lights in celebration as comes over the start-finish line. The 2 BMWs together. Now let's go through the field. We have Nagrom in second, a really fast driver, finishing consistently in the top 5. Lusty, Scott's teammate. Actually, I think this is his best qualifying so far. Congrats to him. Ironic qualifying in fourth. I think that's almost the worst qualifying he's had. There is Dawu with... Dawu's teammate is Shooter, I believe. Dawu in a yellow BMW. Where is Shooter? Actually, I think we've lost for a few drivers as well. There's Shooter. Won't be able to see him. Shagadan in 6th. That's gonna put him in a position so we have a 3-way battle, as I mentioned, for 3rd place between Lusty, Shagadan, and I have to double check. Yeah, Lusty, Shagadan, and Nagrom, all of them finishing in the top 6. So we're gonna see a tight battle between them. Shagadan, Lusty, and Nagrom. I'll try to remember. Now this is when the guys are gonna start when the lights go green. We're not gonna start the race immediately. We're gonna... I'll try to put it up here, and there we have a formation point I mean. And that's when the guys are gonna form up 2 by 2 I mean. And then we are gonna reach the acceleration zone, which is in the start-finish straight, and when the leader gets into this zone, he can just accelerate forward and go whenever he wants and start the race. And there we have it, qualifying and the race. Of course, now they're gonna have about 2 minutes left to select the right strategies and pit strategies. And regarding pit strategies, you can actually start on wets, but that's gonna be a bit risky. You're gonna overheat your tires, and and you're gonna run very slow compared to the other drivers which are in softs. Of course you don't have to pit then when the rain comes, but it might not be worth it because you're so much slower in the dry. And actually there might even not be, if the rain comes and everyone decides to pit at the same time, that's not going to be too good for the pits, because the pits only support around 25 or 20, I believe. So we might not even have enough pit boxes. So I think the game works as if someone is in your pit box, you can just drive into your pit box as normal and you will just go through the car that's in your spot, and then your pit stop should continue as normally. We have Scott in first, Nagrom in second, Lusty in third, Ironic in fourth, Dabu fifth, Shaggy Dan in sixth. And now we're gonna hear that the lights are gonna go green, and then Scott should go. There he goes. Let's continue. We have Eidolon actually qualifying in 7th. I think that's a very good qualifying for Eidolon, as he's often in the midfield. WMDR Martin, our pad driver, as you can see, is a very jerky steering wheel as he's controlling with the pad. Then we have Shaggy Dan's teammate, it's Clown. Then we have Turing. Turing actually mounting an incredible fight now. I mean, last round in Suhai, he was actually contending for third and second place, I believe, fighting harder. Then he had some understeer and went off the track. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Turing has managed to keep his pace, and might see him go up the field a little bit. Then we have Shooter, which is coming in the yellow BMW. That is Davu's teammate. Then Jay in the Audi. Marvin, Ironic's teammate, in the Renault. In 13th place. Marvin is fast as well, so he might be able to catch some positions. Then we have Baratis in the Porsche with his teammate Copper Piston. I believe Boratis was in an incident last round where he had to dodge WMDR Martin and managed to hit one of the other guys. I can't remember his name. And then we have Dakusa in the Bentley. First of all, I need to pay attention. As we can see, they have actually started the race with a... No? Yeah, we have now reached the formation point, and you can see that Scott has started the 1-2 position. Scott on the left side, Nagrom on the inside. Let's go through the last bit of the guys. There we have Dakusa in the Bentley, Howie in the Ferrari, actually qualifying a little further behind than I thought he would. Matster in the Ferrari, which is actually Albuful. Yeah, there we have it. Scott has now started the race. No, he hasn't. There he goes. Scott has started the race, and Nagrom is after him with... Let's go on board and see how they take the first corner. Will there be any incidents? We have a lot of 2x2 action in there. Yeah, Scott just shooting away in the front, it seems. Let's check on the back of the field. I think we're incident free. Seems like there's some contact between the Boratis and the Porsches. Yeah, Matster actually... I believe that's Marvin with Matster on the... actually so many cars going 2x2 down the straight. Let's check on Scott in the lead again. He's further... yeah, every position. This is the same as... actually, Dawu catching a lot of positions here. He's now in third. And there we have him. Ironic is on the attack for... on Shaggy Dan. Let's check how it goes. 2x2 into turn 5. Actually, Shaggy Dan managing to defend his position there. And there we have WMDR Martin looking on the inside of Lusty. Yeah, ironic look. Pressuring Shaggy Dan here from the early start of the race. We already have a lot of invalidations because of track limits. As I mentioned, as ironic actually goes on the inside there and Shaggy Dan on the outside. Onto the straight. Are they 2x2 still? And then we have actually Lusty behind there. Look, actually Lusty looking between them. Ironic on the inside again. Shaggy Dan a bit too wide. Then Shaggy Dan comes on the inside again. They have been 2x2. And there we have it. Ironic has taken 5th position from Shaggy Dan. And there we have Lusty pushing behind Shaggy Dan. And I'm about to run out of battery on my... Oh! I believe someone has pitted, and it is Eidolon. Probably suffered some damage in his Lamborghini. We can't see the front of his car, so I'm not gonna bother. And there we have Nagrom in 2nd and Scott in 1st still. Actually, Dawu managing to climb to 3rd position, I believe, from 6th. Very impressive. And then we have ironic. Actually, the field has actually spread a little bit in the front here. I didn't catch if it was an incident or not, but let's go back and check with the WMDR Martin and Lusty, as Lusty actually lost the position to Clown, Shaggy Dan's teammate, and there we have a close battle between WMDR Martin and Lusty. Martin looking on the inside. Yeah, just trying to make Lusty make a move, defensive move. As we can see further back in the field, Baratis is no, that's Copper Piston actually pushing Marvin in the Porsche. Let's go on board with him and see the action in front. Yeah, Copper Piston all over the rear end of Marvin there. Getting on the gas a little bit too late, so I think Marvin had a good run through there. And I think we have a close battle between Dakusa and this Howie, so let's check on them. There we have Dakusa in the Bentley. And actually Dakusa passing Howie on the inside. Will Howie try to take his position back as they come up to the chicane? Yeah, Howie just drafting Dakusa really much here. Will he be able to pass? And further back in the field, I believe we have Chabas in the white Renault, as we can see, challenged by the Genius. The Genius, I think, is a substitute driver. And there we have Albafold in the NSX. He has changed car. I can't really remember which car he had, so it's going to be interesting to see if that pays off for him. We actually have Jay straight behind Albafold right now. Yeah, Jay just going a little bit on the outside, making Albafold think about him, trying to make him make a mistake. There we have Shooter, which must have had an incident as he is in 20th position. He's qualified in around 10th or something, so he must have had an issue. Hopefully he hasn't gotten any damage, so he can continue in the race. Let's go back to the battle between Marvin and Clown, as I believe they are about. And there we see up in the field we have. I can't see. There were two Ferraris. I couldn't see who it was. And there we have Marvin with Copper Piston straight behind him in the Porsche, pushing the Renault really hard. And then we have actually Clown pushing WMDR Martin in the BMWs further up in the front. So we have a four-way battle here. And Borati's Copper Piston, I mean, actually looking on the inside. as we go in through the hairpin. Yeah, not able to make the move. There we see him weaving behind him as actually Clown goes on, has actually stopped and pushed WMDR Martin or something off the track. They had an incident, might be a mid-corner tap. Let's see what happened between Piston, and there we have Copper Piston. Let's go on board with him as he goes on the inside of Marvin. And there we have him, Copper Piston having the better position, but Marvin actually defending beautifully through there, closing the door, taking the defensive line, but here comes Piston on the inside. I think they actually touched. I believe Copper Piston has actually managed to take the position from Marvin, but here comes Marvin actually drafting behind Copper Piston through the turn. Might get a good drive here, and here he comes actually looking on the, yeah, just staying behind him. Actually here comes Baratis as well, thundering through the chicane, catching up to Marvin. And now Marvin is now trapped between the Porsches of Piston and Baratis, the teammates. I don't think they have any team orders to delay Marvin, so I think we're gonna be fine. And it seems like the Kusa in the Bentley is about to challenge the Chris. I see he's caught up with him. Kusa might have the better drive through there as he got on the gas earlier. Here comes the Kusa drafting their Chris. Their Chris not going for the inside line, the defensive line, as the Kusa is not far enough up there to make the move. As I mentioned, the race pace is going to be about 133 and 134s. It seems like it's going to be a little bit slower as there's a lot of traffic. We can see Baratis actually, his last lap was a 134. So actually, and Scott and Nagrom actually putting in almost 132, so that's really impressive in race pace. Let's check back with the Scott, which has not been able to improve the gap from Nagrom, which is still on his tail. And then we have Davi in third still, Ironic in fourth. Ironic is blisteringly fast though, so he is most probably gonna catch up to Davi, and either it's that or it might be that Ironic is not so familiar with this track, and he just set his best sector yet. So he is definitely going to push up against Dawu, might even overtake him at some point. Here we can see WMDR Martin. Actually, Baratis, I mean, on the... I think actually that was a WMDR Martin overtaking Baratis. Or the other way around. As we can see, Baratis having a little bit of front wing damage. Probably in with the contact. Probably gotten with the contact with Martin. And further back we have the everlasting battle between Dakusa and their Chris. Yeah, Dakusa just hanging behind their Chris. So, but as I mentioned, we're gonna have some rain about halfway through, and that's gonna... some of the guys might have a softer setup for the rain, so they might actually be running like 2 seconds slower in race pace than the guys that have optimized their setups for the wet conditions. So we might actually see some moves happening in the rain because of different setups. And I believe there's no one... Oh no, we have actually Marvin in the pits. I didn't catch what happened. Marvin is repairing, I believe. And there he comes Piston without a rear wing. Oh no, disaster for Copper Piston and Marvin. Marvin, this is actually gonna be a bit... Actually toss the team standings a little bit up, because Marvin is Ironic's teammate. And that's not helpful for them if they want to catch the BMWs of Scott and Lusty, which are doing very well right now. I believe we have some lag on my end. And there goes Marvin, actually being a gentleman, waiting for Piston to get out. Very clean racing, so if you think this looks good and you want to partake in action, please come visit us on our forums. We always welcome newcomers. And there we have actually Boratis coming through, attacking. Yeah, actually Copper Piston actually coming out of the pits as his teammate is attacking W and DR Martin. So let's check on them. And there we actually have a few raindrops, I believe. So in about 2 or 3 laps, the rain is gonna kick in for real, and the guys are gonna have to pit. So this has been a really early rain. The rain is falling very early. Here they come through the difficult chicanes. I believe you actually have Shooter in the pits again. Is he actually pitting for wets already? That's a bit early. He might have some damage as well, so that's just going to be beneficial for him. Was that why Marvin and Piston went in the pits? I believe they had damage, that's why they pitted, as Piston got into the pits without a rear wing. And here comes Shooter out of the pits with wet tires, ready for the rain. Let's go back to Boratis in the Porsche, attacking W and DR Martin. And because of the rain, the track is going to get a bit greasy, so especially with slicks. So it might be hard to overtake now for the guys that haven't pitted yet. Actually, the field is pretty spread, as I believe it's the Genius and the Matster having a battle in the Ferraris. 2 different teams fighting it out, and there we have actually Genius going a little bit wide there, might be because of the rain. I mean Matster in front. I'm gonna check chat for a second. And there we have Chabas in the pits as well. He has pitted for wet tires, and I don't think he has any damage, so we're gonna see a lot of drivers coming in for pits. I believe Nagrom and Scott actually passing the pit entry, so they'll go on another hot lap. And as we can see, the gap from Scott to Nagrom is very little. It's just 6/10 of a second compared to the gap from 2nd to 3rd place, which is almost 10 seconds. So Nagrom and Scott having a battle on their own in the front. And we have some more timing penalties, as Lusty has caught a 1-second penalty and Boratis in the Porsche a 2-second penalty. That might be significant if there's a close position battle for position in the last portion of the race. Let's check back on Genius pushing Matster. Actually, Genius actually catching Matster in the corners, but when it seems like Matster is getting the better exits, so Genius is having a bit of trouble catching up. And I believe Lusty is actually on the tail of Shaggy Down right now, so let's check how that goes. Yeah, there he is in the yellow BMW against Shaggy Down. Let's go on board with them and see how this goes. We might even see some corrections in the steering wheel because of the rain. You can also hear the rain as well. I think we have a slight bug as we can't see any rain on the windscreen. So hopefully, I know I've had lately I've been having issues with people seemingly having damage when they didn't. So that's going to be fixed in this race. Yeah, we have actually Shaggydan going really wide there. Might be a little bit of understeer through the first two turns. And by the way, the part of the track that they just passed, the turn 1 and 2, is going to be littered with just stripes of puddles, you can say. It's going to bring your someone's calling me. It's going to bring the traction way down, and then you come on to the dry part of the track again, and there we can see the rain on the windshield. That means that the rain has kicked in for real. We might see some puddles, small ones, form on the start-finish straight soon. So that's where it's starting to form first, and this is when we might see a lot of guys pitting, I believe. Lusty having a battle with Shaggydan, not being able to pass him, as Shaggydan is fast. And then, looking at my timings, it seems like Genius is still on the tail of Madster, as we can see. Madster must feel the pressure right now. Ferrari shooting flames. And it seems in the front we have Clown actually being passed. Actually, Clown taking the defensive line from Baratis there, as he doesn't want Baratis to pass, with the two Porsches actually attacking him, and now with Baratis on the inside to turn 1. Let's see if Clown can hold the defensive line there. Actually, Baratis on the tail of him. The two teammates almost trading hits there as they try to pass the BMW. There we have them, and there of course Copper Piston, which had damage and had to pit. As you can see, his Porsche is all clean and good and repaired compared to Baratis's. Here they come. Baratis almost looking a little bit on the inside, and here they come to the chicane where it's hard to keep the track limits there, as both of them actually cut the track a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, within the 1 to 2 laps now, everyone should be pitting, so I think we might see a very full pit box. Pit lane, as almost all the cars have to pit. Either that, or I have a bug where I get the weather much earlier than the racing game. Yeah, we can actually see as they go in through the hairpin, we can see that the rain has taken effect as they go through there much slower than they did in the dry. Yeah, Baratis not being able to catch Clone there. Clone taking the very good defensive line through the corners, as just shutting the door on Baratis, not giving him any room to pass. And there we have Copper Piston. Actually, he's pitting again. It might be because, yeah, he's of course pitting again now to get the wet tires, as he didn't get the wet tires when he was in the pits for the first time repairing. And there we have Shaggydan catching up to Lusty again. If I'm not mistaken, I believe... Of course my race feed isn't working. Yeah, Shaggydan on the attack for Lusty right now. Let's check back on Scott. Actually, Shaggydan is setting his best sector now in the rain. That's very impressive by him. As we can see, Scott has actually oh, there we have Chabas in the Renault, about to be hit almost by a Ferrari. I think that's a very flat-nosed Renault. Yes, it is. I think he has got a little bit of front damage, probably an incident with a wall or someone. There we have Marvin battling Shooter, both of them coming actually 2 minutes and 30 seconds off the leaders, back in the field. Marvin just pushing Shooter really hard here. I think they might be on wets because they had the pit, so actually Shooter getting a slowdown or something as he took the inside line there. Probably cut the track. And there was Shooter taking a bit of a defensive line, shutting the door on Marvin. Yeah, as we can see, having very slow corner entries, the corner exits I mean, as they have to accelerate out of the turn in the rain. And now we can see that the rain is taking effect, since the field is just spreading out and everyone has to look out for their own car instead of battling each other, so might not see any battles for a fair while. Or we have the Genius still battling the Mazster, and Shagedan still battling Lusty, as we can see. And there is Shabazz in the pit still. Yeah, here he comes, having to pit because of that smashed up nose. Hopefully he hasn't pitted for wet tires yet, so he can just, let's check. We can actually see it on the tires he's taking off. Those are slicks he's taken off, so hopefully, yeah, now he's repairing, so we might see his front bumper pop out soon. There he is. I believe his front end is repaired and he's on wets now, so he should be good to go for the rest of the race, as he is actually almost 5 minutes behind the race leader, so he's gonna have a hard time catching up to Copper Piston, which is in 19th. Let's check on Piston. He's still clean, and there comes Jay, actually in the pits, having to pit for wet tires. I can't fathom that Nagrom and Scott hasn't had to pit yet, as I believe they are on stacks still, and it's gonna make it really difficult for them. As the track is getting really cool, it should be sub 10 degrees now. It's gonna be really hard to keep the softs warm. And there comes J. Cool out of the pits with wet tires. He is 3 minutes behind the lead, so he must have had an incident also. I think he is 1 lap behind Howie, 1 or 2 laps even, so from 16th place and out, I think we have around 1 or 2 laps left. The only battle going forward right now is the Genius and Mazster, and I believe both of them haven't pitted yet, so yeah, as we can see, the Genius having a lot of understay there. Let's go on board with them and see if we can see some of his corrections. Yeah, and there we see Mazster going into the pits now as he is going for wet tires. There comes Albafol, I believe, in the NSX. We might even have some battles between lapped cars, and see if I can figure out where. Yeah, there we have Piston and then Marvin in front. Actually, Piston moving out to let Davu pass. Is that Davu or Shooter? I believe. Yeah, that is Davu indeed. Davu in 3rd place, managing to keep his position. With Boratis behind him. No, that is Copper Piston. And then we have Marvin or Ironic. I need to check who it is. Yeah, it's Ironic behind Copper Piston. Ironic in 4th. I believe Ironic hasn't pitted yet also, so I'm a bit confused because when the raid kicks in, all of them have to pit, so they've actually been on track for so long in the rain. On slicks. As we can see, Nagrom actually catching up to Scott still, and Scott not being able to shake off Nagrom. Oh, they're touring. I'm so sorry to hear that. That sucks, dude. Better luck next time. Excuse me. Here we can see. Let's go on board with Nagrom and see what a lap looks like in the rain. Let's see if we can see some of those puddles I was talking about. It's gonna be, this part of the track is gonna have like striped, it's gonna just be striped with puddles. It's gonna be really hard to control the car, as when you enter it, you just lose all front grip and you sail through the puddle and then get grip again. So if you actually, Nagrom catching up to backmarker right there, I believe that's... Is it the genius? No, it isn't. Is it... Is it Metster? I'm having a hard time remembering all the Ferraris. Excuse me. Actually now, Clown actually catching Martin here. As I was talking about, let's go on board again with Nagrom, as he's actually catching Scott here. Actually, this might be where Nagrom has a better wet track setup than Scott has, and might be able to catch him because of the setup difference. As I say that the Genius is about to pass Albaful. I'm having a timing bug, I think, because those times are not correct at all. I got jebaited. Let's go back to Clown, and the Clown actually going for WNDR Martin here. Martin taking the defensive line, closing the door on Clown. Martin actually a bit late off the exit there, so Clown is drafting him now, getting a good run into the chicane. Let's go on board with him. Yeah, Clown a little bit later on the gas than Martin, so Martin has the better drive off the turn. Here they come through turn 1 and 2. Actually, Clown taking a bit of an earlier apex there as he gets a better drive than Martin. Martin taking the defensive line again on the inside. Clown looking on the outside again. I mean inside. This is so tricky because of the rain, because you have so much... Oh yeah, Clown taking the safe decision there and braking a little bit before crashing into Martin, as he might have gotten a lot of understeer in the rain. And we see them coming through the turn 5 chicane. Yeah, Clown actually going on the outside of Martin there. Where they come side by side into the next chicane. And the Clown is still on the outside. And there we see Martin's pad racing as his front wheels are just jerking to the side. Yeah, actually beautifully defended by Martin through there, keeping it clean as well. Actually, Clown tapping Martin in the rear end there. Clown outbraking himself, probably locked up during braking, and I am gonna mute my Discord. Yep. Yeah, as we see Clown still on the rear end of WMDR Martin here. Let's go on board with him and see if he can control the car in the rain. The BMW has a lot of power as well, so with a rear wheel drive driven car with a lot of power and the front engine one, it's gonna make it oversteer, and oversteer in the rain is a bit hard to control. So, and then we have more people pitting. I believe it's Takusa pitting here as WMDR Martin actually going really on the hard on the inside. They're passing the apex even onto the grass. Let's check on the Corsa. Does he have damage? I don't believe he has damage. He's just in there for the wets. Actually, he is repairing right now as his pit crew is waiting. And then we can see actually Albeful, the Corsa sliding out of his pit box there. Albeful coming into the pits as they're going to... And there we have it. Scott is now in the pits with Nagrom straight behind him. Actually, Nagrom is in the pits before Scott, so I believe Nagrom actually caught Scott there. And now we can see the strategy is paying off here for the guys that pitted earlier. And we can see that Shaggy Dan... Yeah, Lust is in the pits. Shaggy Dan has stayed out. I believe he's still on soft, so this is going to be a massive, momentous charge forward in position if he can manage to keep this together and lap on the, pit on the end of this round. As we can see, Davu is now actually in first, also on the softs, and Nagrom actually out of the track again with Scott straight behind him. So Nagrom has actually, yes, Nagrom is still behind Scott, as we can see, about the same gap as they were before they pitted. So, and there we have Shaggy Dan. No, that's Clone. Yeah, Clone actually going on the outside of Clown. Nagrom there, passing him on the outside. That was beautiful. Very nice pass by Clown there. In fourth now. And that's going to be a huge boost for them, for Clown and Shaggy Dan in the team standings. As I say that, Nagrom not being able to pass him still, and actually Martin now challenging Nagrom. So it seems like Nagrom is having a little bit of trouble with pace in the rain. And now we can see the race leader Dao is now pitting, and I believe, yeah, there he is, now pitting for wets, and that's gonna push him a fair few places back in the field. And actually Shaggy Dan not going into the pits for wets. I can't remember if he's gone to the pits already and changed to wets. This might actually be a strategy difference, where actually Shaggy Dan started on wet tires and lost a bit of pace in the beginning. So if that's true, well played, Shaggy. Very cool strategy coming into play here, if I'm correct. It looks, his tires look a lot like softs though, so I might be mistaken here. As mentioned, we have Clown actually... Did Clown... Yeah, Martin actually passing Nagrom there. Nagrom losing a bit of pace. And there we have actually Baratis in the Porsche, side by side with their Chris... No, I mean, that is Marvin. I'm a bit confused here. I think there's some lapped cars. Where is Marvin? There he is, Marvin in 19th. I believe we have lost 4 drivers as well since the race started. Or 3. 2 of them actually showed up in chat, so it's good to see you guys. Hope you enjoyed the stream. As I say that WMDR Martin actually passing Baratis on. I hear they come 2 by 2, as well as Scott and Clown battling it out. I mean, hold on, I needed to... There was some passing action going on as Nagrom has someone gone off. There comes yeah, it was Martin going into the pits, needing to pit for softs, and I believe Shaggy Dan has to come in for pits, wet soon. Hopefully we don't have the bug where a lot of drivers have different weather conditions, so Dan might actually have a dry race right now. And there we have Martin changing for wets, coming out of the pits. As I say that, I think Clown is actually catching up to Scott here. Actually, Clown putting up an impressive fight here, actually climbing in positions through the chicane here. Let's go on board with him and see what the rain feels like. Shout out to Clown, by the way. I think he's streaming right now. So is his teammate Shagadan in first place. Very clean exit there, so no oversteer at all. I'm gonna turn up the game volume a little bit. And here we go, Baratis is now pitting for wets. And fixing his damage probably, so he's gonna be in tip-top shape to catch the positions he's losing while pitting. And here comes their Chris as well, pitting for wets. It's a bit weird to see the difference in pit windows. As in when people pit compared to each other, because I thought a lot of people would pit at the same time. And there we have it, they're just drifting out of his pit box. And let's catch back up with Nagrom and Clown. As we can see, they're still fighting as Clown took Nagrom's position. And Shaggy Dan is actually so far in front right now. He is 12 seconds. And there he comes into the pits for wets. Can't believe he actually managed to stay on track for so long. And now we can see that the track is starting to get really wet now. So we're gonna see some puddles, and let's go on board with Scott now to see if we can see some of them. Yeah, we can see the track actually is shining now with all the puddles. Water splashing out of his tires. Let's go on board with him again. As you can see, the track is just blazed with water. And, I think we're going to see those puddles I was talking about now. Actually, it's, as I said, that's Scott having a lot of understeer going through that corner. Try to see corner and turn at the same time. There we have Clown actually pitting now, he was in second or third place with Nagrom behind him, and it has actually, we're back again with Scott in first and Nagrom in second. Let's see if Nagrom will be able to catch up with Scott again. I might be fooled by the timings here, but I think Genius is in a battle with Albafol in the NSX in front of him. Let's go on board with him. And there we see the chicanes, there's huge puddles in those dips right there. See the Genius's steering wheel just get tugged by the puddles in the apexes. Albafol going a little bit wider, spraying mud into the track. Genius taking a really conservative line through there as Albafol going for a bit of a late apex, going off track. I think Shaggy Dan is about to overtake Ironic, so let's check back on them. There we have it, Ironic. Oh, Ironic having a lot of oversteer there. Shaggy Dan might have the better drive. See if Shaggy Dan can catch Ironic. Actually, Shaggy Dan in the pits. Pitted really late, almost hitting the wall there as he didn't have any turn in. And now we can see that the puddles on the straight is now more pronounced, and we can see the racing line actually drying up a little bit as the cars drive over the wall. Oh, actually, let's go on board with Ironic there, as he is just drifting. Yeah, there actually goes Shaggydan in front of him. Ironic actually talked about when the patch hit, the new patch for the game, but the Renault felt a bit more oversteering. So I think that might be what we were seeing as he is drifting, trying to get out of Shaggydan's spray. You can see the puddles actually pulling the car into the track again, as actually Ironic having a really good drive through there as he's catching Shaggydan, looking on the outside. Having a slow. Yeah, we can see oversteering Ironic there. Let's check back on the battle of Albeful and Genius. Genius still a fair distance behind Albeful there, as we can see that the timings are actually bugged. It says that Genius is in front of Albeful. That's not true. Dakusa fighting Howie here actually. Dakusa coming over the hill, hard braking into the chicane of turn 5. Huge pulse there. Actually, Dakusa catching Howie there. Oh no, and Martin has actually spun it. There he is. Will he be able to re-enter the race safely? Yes, it seems like he will. And I believe that's actually Howie blinking his lights. Must be so difficult for Martin to control the car there, as we have another BMW. It was a white one. And that is their Chris. Actually, we have a huge battle going on now. There Chris and Martin on side by side here. Actually, Martin on the inside of Howie here as well. We have there Chris on the inside of Martin. How's this gonna go into turn 1? Martin actually taking the outside line through there, and there Chris has spun it with some massive oversteer. That's unfortunate for him, as a yellow BMW passes him, and I believe that's Shooter. Yes, it is Shooter. Indeed. Where's there Chris? I think he has managed to enter the race again without causing any damage. He has caught a little bit of damage on his front left there from the incident that he was just in. Let's catch up to the battle between us for Howie. Actually, I think there's some... I need to find... Yeah, it's actually Matster having a battle with one of the Porsches of Paratis, or... it's either is it Paratis? Yes, it is Paratis. Actually, Matster not being able to catch up, hold pace there. And wow, Scott and Nagrom are just in a league of their own, as they have actually increased the gap from Dawu in 3rd place by 28 seconds, and that's massive difference. Really fast drivers in the rain. Of course, as I mentioned, Dawu, if he finishes in this position, that's going to push him so far up the driver's standings, as I think he's been like a midfield racer. And there we have the Audi of Jay. Yes, it is Jay indeed. Hopefully he's gonna be able to enter the race again without causing any damage, and he's fine. I see that as Ironic coming in 5th position, and the other winner was Marvin. Drivers are so careful now with their cars. Let's go on board with Howie as he's catching up to Martin. It seems like they are focusing more now on taking more care of their car than pace. Oh, actually Howie going wide there. late on the gas. That's going to be an opportunity, as I think we see a yellow BMW, which is Shooter, is it? I believe it was Shooter, as Davu is on another part of the track. And now we can see that the whole race has spread out. If you guys in chat want to ask something or anything, just type in chat and I'll... Hey Evidence, good to see you. Let's catch up to... Actually, Nagrom having some traffic with one of the Ferraris. Let's go on board with him as he's almost pushing him off the start-finish straight. Is it Master? No, it's not. It's... Is it the Genius? It's not the Genius either. Actually, Shaggy Dan now catching up to Davu as... Let's go on board for a while with Shaggy Dan to see if we can catch Davu. So, with the standings we're having right now, actually Nagrom, Scott in first in the BMW, that's just gonna increase his lead. And as I say that, Shaggy Dan actually now catching up to Davu. Davu is known to be a careful driver in the rain. As I say that, Shaggy Dan getting some oversteer, actually power oversteer over the hill. Caught out by the puddles as Davu goes in very carefully, but fast out. If I'm not mistaken, I think we have a... Oh, actually Shaggy Dan having locking up his brakes, catching into Davu there, hopefully not having too much aero damage. Both of them off. As we can see from the rear end of Davu, there a little bit of damage. His front is fine. Let's check Shaggy Dan's car. Yeah, not so much damage, I believe. I think they're fine. They probably got like 5 aero damage, and that's of course a little bit noticeable and absolutely a disadvantage. You're gonna be a disadvantage if you have less downforce, of course, in the rain, as it's really helpful. And as I say that, I can see that Nagrom is actually catching up to Scott here. Scott probably had to deal with some traffic, and then we have Martin in the back behind Nagrom. Actually, Martin is a lap behind. Yeah, so Nagrom and Scott probably had to go through him. And that's when Nagrom caught up to Scott. Let's go on board with Scott now for a lap and see what the racetrack is like. And there we can see a massive puddle, it's just sailing through it, just aiming for the apex. And there we can see actually Takusa losing the control of his rear end there. Oversteering like crazy. Power oversteering that powerful Bentley. Braking much earlier now for turn 1, hitting the puddle even, having some oversteer. Letting off the gas really early, unable to get... As you can see, we have some stripes on the... Yeah, we can even hear it as well as he's driving over those stripes of puddles. Really obnoxious, as they can really upset your steering and grip. Must be hard, frustrating for Scott. There we can see Dakusa taking a bit of an alternative line through that chicane, wanting to, oh, actually Dakusa letting the leaders pass. There we go. It doesn't feel comfortable having them behind him. Probably losing time. Yeah, as we can see, Dakusa having lots of oversteer as well. Let's go back to on board with Scott. Haven't seen so much of Scott's masterful defensive driving yet, so it's gonna be interesting to see if he has to defend from You'll know it, as it's gonna make the lines much harder to keep together. And there we can see that huge puddle again. Scott just sailing through it, being a bit late on the throttle actually on the start finish, and the Grom having the same issues. Grom taking a very early apex there, so he wants to go wide and oversteer. You can hear the wheeler just having to deal with that standing water from the puddles in the turn 1 and 2. I think we might have a battle on our hands between... Is it actually Dawu about to catch up to Shaggy Dan? Shaggy Dan is actually really fast in the rain, so hopefully Dawu has his wipers on, because they're not on for me. Actually, Dawu taking a bit of an early apex there, getting the power down earlier, might catch Shaggy Dan here. You see there's a very dangerous puddle there on the outside of turn 2. Battle on our hands between Albafol and Howie, so let's check back on them. Yeah, as we can see, Howie fighting with Shooter, I believe, in behind him. Yes, Shooter is 1 lap behind Howie. And I believe we have actually... I'm gonna skip a little bit here. Yeah, there we have it. Dakusa and Martin actually having a little battle. I'm trying to catch the battles between the left cars and the others. So it seems like actually 1st to 4th place, 1 to 4th, is actually the guys on the same lap, and behind them there's a huge gap to, 1 to 7th place. The race has spread out so much because of the rain. Yes, there we have it. Actually, now Grom tossing it there, having a lot of understeer or oversteer, not able to catch it. Yeah, that's gonna put Scott far into the lead, as we can see that the gap has already grown to 8 seconds now. Tuna Grom in 2nd place. Still, this gap is still 20 seconds for Shaggy Dan to catch up to Nagrom in 2nd place. Oops. And of course, as we were talking about Nagrom's spin there, let's go on board with Martin for a second to see what this powder racing is like. Trying to deal with that oversteer with a pad is not easy at all. Let's go on board with Dakusa, which has so much power. Let's see, maybe drift a little bit here. Going through the puddle, putting the power down. Actually, short shifting a little bit there because he has so much power it does to spin. Fabulous noise of that V8 in the Bentley. There we have our first stripe of the puddle, and then I think as we can see now, where we have the stripes forming of the puddles, those are gonna be so hard to deal with. Of course, as I As we can see, we're actually racing in the morning in the winter, so this is going to be interesting in terms of grip. Yeah, feel free to come back. Hopefully you will. Appreciate you guys watching. And then of course we have the last round of Mount Fuji International Speedway. It's gonna be interesting to see if Scott and Ironic, which one gets first, and then of course the three-way battle between Lusty, Nagrom and Shaggy Dan. Yeah, please come back and see how it turns out. I cannot really tell how many did DNF's evidence, as it doesn't tell who got kicked and not, so I think that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Please come visit us next time at next Wednesday. And of course, if you want to talk to us or any of the drivers, they are really